Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. First of all, we tell you that the Pakistan cricket team has reached Colombo, where they will be playing a two-test match series against the Sri Lankan side. The first test match begins on the 16th of this month. The squad is going to play a practice match tomorrow. Therefore, they can get acclimatized to the conditions and also the weather as well. This is a very potent squad. Before their departure, they had some intense practice in Karachi as well. They played scenario-based matches. But then again, we are worried about what combinations Pakistan is going to go with, because remember, this is the start of the ICC World Test Championship cycle. This is Pakistan's first campaign for the cycle of year 2023 and 24. So that's why we want to gauge this in a perspective where Pakistan starts off on a winning note, because if you remember the last cycle, then playing some drawn series really cost Pakistan for their chances to make it to the final. Then we move on to more Test cricket, where we discuss the Ashes, England beating Australia convincingly by 3 wickets and winning this third Test match. Now the series is 2-1, 2 for Australia, 1 for England. But this was one of the most remarkable comebacks we've seen. It was all about Mark Wood and Chris Woakes. The way they've come into the side immediately made an impact. But the question is, why weren't they selected before? And now what's going to happen is, going into the fourth Test, England is going to be very, very confident. And if it goes down to the fifth Test match, then you never know. The game can go either way. But if Australia seal the victory, then the series is all over for the English side as well. So we'll talk about the Ashes in detail. Then we move on to some more news from the world of sports. We will particularly discuss tennis as well. At the same time, Wimbledon is also taking place, the biggest Grand Slam of the year. And there have been many names that have made it through. It's been intense tennis. We were just discussing it a short while ago before the show, me and Ali Mehdi, where Andrei Rublev has reached the Wimbledon quarterfinals. Iga Swiatek is facing Elina Svitolina in the quarterfinal, while Carlos Alcaraz will face Matteo Berrettini tonight, with the Italian also making way to try to make it through to the Wimbledon semi-finals as well. Then some great news for Pakistan and all you e-gaming lovers. Taken 7 Nations Cup, Pakistan beat South Korea to win the title. Atif Butt won the boss match to seal victory. Pakistan will now be playing the grand finale event. It was absolutely superb. You talk about Atif, you talk about Salan Ash, everybody involved have been superb. And they've been winning for quite a while now. But Pakistan, because they've been crowned champions now, really deserve all the applaud. And these young boys are making history for Pakistan in e-gaming. Remember, it's a developing sport, but then Pakistan making the mark and taking 7 around the world is really special. So we'll talk about that, and of course, congratulations to the entire e-gaming fraternity, especially Arslan Ash and Atif Butt as well. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by cricket commentator, broadcaster and presenter, and our cricket expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm very well, thank you.
We've also been joined by sports expert, Ali Mehdi. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm very well.
Great to have you on the show as well. Now, of course, gentlemen, cricket is something that we start. Then the Pakistan squad, Asif, has reached Colombo. They play a practice match tomorrow. The first test starts on the 16th. But like I keep on saying, the World Test Championship and playing against Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka is never going to be easy.
Well, that's right. You know that if you see the track record of Pakistan, it's been really good against Sri Lanka in Test cricket especially. The only concern is that the 3 spinners, if you talk about Hasranga and then Jayasuriya and Theekshana, all of them, they're really in good form. You have watched them that they're playing ICC qualifier. But after that, the Pakistan, they are really good playing against spinner. Talk about Babar Azam, talk about Rizwan, talk about Sarfraz Ahmed. Well, now this is an important point, that see that right before the departing, what Babar Azam said about Sarfraz, that he's my first choice. If Sarfraz is first choice, either you're going to play as a fielder batter, or either you're going to play as a wicket keeper batter. For me, of course, Rizwan is the best wicket keeper so far in this side. So for Rizwan, for me, as a wicket keeper batter, and Sarfraz, of course, as a proper middle order batter who is really, really good against spinners. So it's a concern. Then definitely we'll go with one spinner, and that is, of course, Abrar. We do have the luxury of Salman Agha. He's a very good batter, all-rounder, off-spinner. Then 3 specialist fast bowler, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Naseem Shah and Hassan Ali. Either will give chance to Amir Jamal or not. It's a very, very good question for me, because you know that Amir Jamal is performing so well. But if you see the average of Hassan Ali in Test cricket, it's been phenomenal. 25 is the average. Whenever we talk about that, some top-notch fast bowlers like Mitchell Starc, Pat Cummins, Jasprit Bumrah, they're around 23 to 25. So Hassan Ali is very good, and I'm quite sure that the Pakistan team will go with Hassan Ali.
Do you also want to go with Hassan Ali?
Yeah, I want to go with Hassan Ali because he's good against spinner as well with the bat. He has scored in century in domestic structure as well. So on the other side, that Abrar is a very quality spinner. Everyone was talking about his abilities, either his wrong one, googlies, flippers, and he said himself in an interview that I'm working all of them. So Pakistan is a very good side, but see that how you will deal their spin attack, because Jayasuriya, Hasranga, they're in very, very good form.
Ali Mehdi, this is a very important question, and for any player to be successful in Sri Lanka, you need escape shots, the sweeps, the reverse sweeps, and technically to be very sound, something that Pakistan has lacked currently.
They have lacked that currently, and the only person who actually exhibits that sort of talent is Sarfaraz Ahmed. That's why I think that he is. That's why I can understand why Babar Azam said that Sarfaraz Ahmed is my number one. He's my number one go-to player. He's probably going to play as keeper too, because let's be honest, in the field he is an absolute passenger, so he's probably going to keep too. And look, he performed extremely well against New Zealand. He's done very well in first class cricket. And look, to combat the spin threat of Sri Lanka, the likes of Jayasuriya, Theekshana, and obviously Hasaranga, then I really do think that you really need to play. And let's not forget that they've got a couple of more spinners too in their lineup too. So I actually think that it's very important that you need to play these sort of players. You need Sarfaraz to be there. The question whether Rizwan will not, I think that's another question which has to be answered too. But I think right now Sarfaraz is definitely your number one right now. He's playing extremely well. He's going to do. I think he's going to perform very well in Sri Lanka too. And look, I think this is a very good opportunity for him, because look, the Test series is extremely important, but then we have to look beyond that Test series, and that is the Asia Cup and the World Cup too. So a lot is riding on this series in Sri Lanka too. And and the most important thing, I was actually I was mentioning about it a couple of last week and on previous shows, is that we need to learn from our examples of last year. Last year, we won that first Test heroically. Second Test, we made a lot of mistakes. We just didn't know how to play spin. We got absolutely battered. So it's important we start well, and then we actually nurture all our bowlers.
Well, Ahmed, can I
Please,
ask something?
Yes.
Ali, see, if you talk about that the Sarfaraz abilities, yes, that he performed so well with the bat, but he was not up to the mark behind the stumps, and he has given so many chances to the batters. So if Sarfaraz is coming with the gloves, won't be a good idea. On the other side, if you see the performance of Rizwan with these gloves, up to the mark, excellent. He has taken so many good catches, and the stumpings as well. So if you are saying that the Sarfaraz is Sarfaraz is first choice, then yes, with the bat as a middle order batter, not with the gloves.
No, I completely agree with you. But you see, the most important thing is over here. What are you going to play? You're going to play Sarfaraz. If he's going to be in the team, you're going to play him in the field. I mean, he could actually cost you a lot of wickets and actually do a lot of. You could say in the field too, he could make some mistakes too, and probably take some catches. So that's why I feel that it's a very important point over here. Who do you want to play? Do you want to play Rizwan Sarfaraz? Sarfaraz, I think he did make a lot of mistakes previously, especially in the New Zealand series, but I think he's learned from those mistakes too. He's worked extremely hard. And look, the important thing for Sarfaraz over here is that he's now only focusing on one format, that is Test cricket. So I'm sure that he would have worked very hard over the spring, over the past 6 months, and you'll see that there'll be a marked improvement in his keeping.
Right, Asif, what about escape shots? Like I said, you need to be technically very sound. After Yunus Khan and Misbah, there is hardly a batter we found that can play the sweep or the reverse sweep very well, especially for conditions in Sri Lanka.
See, when you are playing against spinners, and especially the top-notch spinners, you should play with the straight bat. This is really important. As Ali Mehdi was mentioning the mistakes which we had done in the last tour, in the last year's tour, that was actually, the batters when they used to play across the line. And spinners like Theekshana, who always used fingers, and then Jayasuriya, and then Hasranga, you cannot play sweep shot or the reverse sweep easily. You'd have to go with the straight bat. This is really important, Ahmed. The escape shots you play, when you're in pressure or you want to release the pressure. But if you are playing with an average of 4 or 3 or 4, then you don't follow the same baseball idea, because that this is Sri Lanka, this is not England. If you're playing in England, then I can understand that that the scenario could be changed for the spinners. But Sri Lanka, the pitches, the surface, always really supporting. And of course that the Sri Lankan Cricket Board, they would go and beyond their strength, and that is of course the spin
Asif, Pakistan is, once we're focused on the spin element, there is another element where Pakistan has really been struggling. If you remember the times of Prasad when he was bowling for Sri Lanka with the new ball, or Suranga Lakmal, Pakistan was conceding wickets with the new ball as well.
Now, this is the question is that Abdullah Shafiq, Imamul Haq, both of them, they are so good with the straight bat. They used to play in V, they don't play across the line. Abdullah Shafiq, this is what Babar Azam said, that I like his technique. What does it mean that he's technically so good? So the batters like, if I talk about Abdullah Shafiq and then Imamul Haq, both of them, they're really good. And number 3, Babar Azam. And the number 4, Saud Shakil. Number 5, Sarfraz. Number 6, Rizwan. Number 7, Salman Ali Agha. All of them good against fast bowlers. So I think it won't be a concern for Pakistan batting line.
But Ali Mehdi, likewise, very important to protect your middle order, and that's where the opening job comes in.
That's why it's so important that our openers perform well this time. I think that it's so important because look, if the openers perform well, that'll give a huge load of confidence to that middle order. I think the middle order has done very well last year. I mean, I thought Saud Shakil has been the standout player for Pakistan. Very dogged, works extremely hard, works very hard on his technique, and he actually fights for the team. He's the sort of player who really likes digging and he really fights for his team. So I think he's an incredible find. But the important thing is that the likes of Abdullah Shafiq and Imam really need to get off to a great start over here. If they lay down the platform, then that middle order, you could see that confidence actually boost or will actually come to that middle order. So it's so important this time that Imam and Abdullah Shafiq play well, and then obviously Babar and then Sarfraz, if he plays, and then Saud Shakil, they will get a lot of confidence. So it's so important that the top 3 perform well, and then after that you'll see that Pakistan will get some big scores, especially because of that strong middle order.
Absolutely. Well, that being said, Pakistan is playing a practice match tomorrow in Colombo, and the campaign starts on the 16th of July with the first test match. It's going to be the start to the World Test Championship, so all the best to the boys in green, being led by Babar Azam, because we're very, very confident for this series. We really want to see Pakistan in action. It's been a while now since we saw these boys playing international cricket, so we're all eager to watch that. Now coming to more test cricket, and some exciting one as well. The Ashes gave us another splendid test match. The third test match won by England by 3 wickets. They managed to beat Australia, and now they have won up in the series as well. So it's now 2-1, 2 for Australia, 1 for England. Going into the 4th and 5th test match, it's going to be very, very interesting. So Asif, what changed for England all of a sudden?
Well, I think that when we talk about the England team, see that their best players, they're not performing. Ben Stokes, Jonny Bairstow and Joe Root. Even then, if England is managed to get this victory against Australia, it's a very good thing. And of course, that last night I was reading somewhere over the Twitter that England have managed to get this victory by Brook or by the other players, the Wood. Wood bowls so nicely. And then when we talk about the X factor, that is the Chris Woakes. Not only with the ball, with the bat as well. He is Pat Cummins kind of player, that who performed so well with the bat.
And he got a very good record with the bat in the domestic circuit for England as well.
Yeah, that's why, we were asking this question, why England team or the English management, why they're not including these kind of players like Chris Woakes, Wood, and then Harry Brooks, of course, if you see his technique, though he only played 10-11 matches, but his average is above 50. What does it mean? That he is also confident. So I think that these young blood for English team, they brought some energy in the team. And even, your captain is not performing, but your key player like Joe Root, I'm not happy the way he got out. That was a very, very simple delivery. You could have gone for the flick. He didn't read that delivery and went for the pull shot. But really nice catch from Alex Carey. I think Australia was missing Nathan Lyon in 4th innings especially. So because he's not fit and he has been ruled out now. So same as Ollie Robinson, but Ollie Robinson doesn't make any difference. But there is Nathan Lyon. He makes a huge difference in Australian team.
Ali Mehdi, what do you think? What changed for England, and what should be the case now going into the 4th test match?
Look, I think the one reason why they perform very well is that fresh approach actually. Bringing the likes of Mark Wood and Chris Woakes actually was, I think, the changing factor over. That was the game, you could say, the reason why the series has actually tilted now, and the momentum is now towards England. Look, because, going into this match, Ollie Pope wasn't performing, he was out. Obviously, it's replaced by Moeen. But the thing is that James Anderson, their go-to bowler, has not been performing. He's only taken about 2 wickets, 2 to 3 wickets this series with a very high average. They needed a fresh direction, and that's where Mark Wood came into the picture. Nobody has really heard about Mark Wood for a very long time. And Chris Woakes, let's not forget, he's been injured for a very long time. So he hasn't really had much of contribution in Test cricket. So bringing those two has actually made a world of a difference because, look, they fought for the team. Mark Wood was bowling at extreme pace, about a 90 miles per hour, plus 95, 96, 97. Consistently, he actually really put the Aussies in their shell. He really put, sent a chill up their spine too. And then Chris Woakes doing the business too with the bat and with the bowl. Those two were combined very well in tandem and actually gave that lift which England required too. The only issue is, whilst England just got over the line over here.
Right, we'll just go towards a short break. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.